So I have the ingredients here, right? A saucepan now, and then I have, for making the caramel, I have sugar and water. And then the hazelnuts are whole, but they are toasted already. I'm just going to add the water and the sugar onto the saucepan. Let me just reduce the temperature. So when you're making a nut praline, so this idea you can use with almonds, you can use it with groundnuts, and then make a Snicker flavored filling. So making a praline using any nut, the process will just be the same. When you have the sugar dissolved, add the nuts and let the liquid stage sugar syrup coat the nut. Now, after the stage, it will crystallize. Crystallization is like the sugar dissolving into water and then becoming solid back again. After it's dissolved, it will get back to its solid form, and that is crystallization. Crystallization is not good when we are making caramelization, like for example, say caramel sauce or caramel syrup. When it crystallizes, we are in trouble. But when we are making a caramelized nuts, the first step is to crystallize. Now, are we able to see this clearly? You can see the sugar syrup will just become solid back again. It is just coating. It's still in a little bit of moisture is there. Now all the moisture will go. Now you can see the sugar is starting to become solid back again. Sides. So you can see on the spatula also. And then on the hazelnuts also, you can see the sugar has become solid. All the liquid is gone and it is crystallized. So that is the first step, which is done right. You can see that, right? There are sugar that's coated the hazelnut. Okay. So now after crystallization, continue to cook again. Now this crystallized sugar will melt, and that is when the caramelization will happen. Caramelization is the browning of sugar. Just going to cut down, reduce the heat a bit. You can see a bit of browning is happening. Top, we can show. You see there is the sugar syrup is just turning brown. I'm just putting them together so you see the caramelization. This one is the caramel. So I'm going to put it back again. So slowly all the solid sugar, the crystallized sugar will melt. And why we are doing that is we want the sugar to coat the nut completely. And that will happen only with crystallization. And then that crystallized sugar caramelizing will again have the caramelized sugar coating the entire nut. We don't want the caramel to be separate and the nut to be separate. So you can see the caramelization now, right? So when you see all the solid sugar is melted off, you don't want too much browning also. Now this looks like a good color. And I don't see the solid sugar anywhere. It's all turned liquid. Sides. Side. Okay, so you can see that's beautiful color. And you have to immediately transfer it into a mat because the heat will still continue. And browning will continue. So then it will have a burnt taste. You don't want that. So to stop the cooking, you transfer it into a silicone mat and allow it to cool. Now, in the meantime, I think we can make the milk chocolate ganache, and that is nothing. So this is done, right? So place this aside. Now, what I was doing, hazelnut praline is done, and I'm going to allow that to cool. So in the meantime, that is milk chocolate ganache. Like I said, for hazelnut, milk chocolate goes well. And I'm going to do the same process. Get the milk chocolate into the bowl and the cream. Measurements are given in your recipe document that's been uploaded or given with you. Now I have this microwaved in 30-second bursts. In the meantime, let me check. It is still hot. We just want this to cool down before we are ready to process this in the mixie. There you can check the color. The caramelized sugar and all the solid sugar is just all gone. Milk chocolate and the cream coming out of microwave. Just mix until all the lumps are removed, or go for another 30-second if you have the chunks of the chocolate not melted fully. So why I am just putting in like so many different kinds of fillings is to again remind you of whatever fillings that are available. I'm sure you guys are using these different kinds in your cakes. But then to again reiterate the idea of using these many fillings for your macarons is so very important. So I think I'll get my food processor. It'll be good if we could allow it to cool down for some time, but let me see how it goes. I have the small jar. So I'm getting this. It is still quite warm, and that is why it's just sticking out and coming. But if we're going to allow it to come down to room temperature, it will just become all solid. The caramel will just turn hard. Okay, but then I'm just going to put this in. So you can see the back is just becoming solid, this particular caramel area. So we are processing the caramelized hazelnuts. I'm pulsing it first. So let me show how it looks at this stage. spoon. It smells actually very nice. So for praline, right, say for like a butterscotch cake or a hazelnut crunch cake or something, you can just stop here. This is going to taste absolutely yummy because that is caramel and hazelnuts together. You can use this as a filling on your cake layers. You can just stop it at this stage. But I need a paste, right? So I'm just going to continue beating this. That's how it looks. And depending on the quality of your hazelnut and how long before you have purchased and then allowed it to be, if it is dried, then the paste may not happen by itself. A little bit of oil may be needed, but let me see how this works. So that's how it is inside. Okay. So it's all come together. The dryness is gone. Let me continue for some more time. And if I have a paste by itself, then the hazelnut is not dry. So I don't need an oil. But if it is not forming a paste after considerable time of beating, then you need some oil. But I'm just going to beat this. You can see without the addition of oil, you can see that here, right? Here and then here as well. So the paste comes through by itself. Then let me add a little bit of oil. So that's how it looks. Just a bit of oil I'm going to add. Maybe like a half a teaspoon it would be. Just put everything together and then beat it one more time. So I have the oil completely. So that's how it looks right now. I'm going to beat it like one last time. So I think this looks fine. It looks like this. So our praline, which was cooked with sugar, first crystallized and then caramelized and then processed, you have like a nice paste of caramelized hazelnut. And this, I'm going to add it into the ganache. And these are some things that you can use for your cakes as well. They're just not specific to macarons. All this consistency works as cake fillings also. But then for cakes, I'm sure you guys know to play around with your menus, your menu card and whatever you've been ideally doing. But when you are giving out macarons, it is always nice to have different flavors. So you don't always have to be, doing the ganache and buttercream alone. I'm just emptying up as much possible. Okay, now I have this paste to go in with the ganache. A bit of graininess will be there, and that is the texture that we are looking at having. A plain ganache will be quite soft and creamy, right? So this one, that bit of graininess is going to be there. Now do that with peanuts, and then you have your Snickers flavor. Combine it thoroughly and surface wrap. It's already cool, but we put it in the fridge for the ganache to crystallize. Otherwise, it's just going to be runny and soft.